Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation on the hidden costs of introducing simulated phishing campaigns with an external vendor. I did this work together with my collaborators Annalina Buckmann and Jonas Hielscher, who's also sitting in this room right now, and my advisor Angela Sasse. We're from the Ruhr University of Bochum in Germany, and additionally I am working full-time for the company Siemens Energy. So the topic of phishing simulation is currently really trending, but it's also highly controversial. So it's loved and sold by a lot of service providers, but especially with the latest publication from Lina et al., the effect of the embedded trainings within these phishing simulations are highly questioned. So we wanted to investigate on phishing simulations more deeper. And we looked at possible hidden costs, so possible side effects like mistrust towards the IT security department or employees over-reporting emails that are actually legitimate and then they're no longer getting answered. Employees that don't take phishing attacks seriously anymore because they think they're simulated, and so on. And we wanted to focus on the procurement and implementation expenses, especially the procurement expenses. And therefore, we formulated these 3 research questions. So 1, how does the process of selecting and procuring a security awareness training with a phishing simulation campaign look like in detail? 2nd, what organizational stakeholders are involved in the procurement and implementation phase of phishing simulations? And 3rd, what hidden costs occur during the procurement and implementation phase of phishing simulations? So to answer these questions, we conducted a 5-month case study in 2022 with a European company we'd like to call Truck Corp, and they hold well over 30,000 employees. And we were able to document the process of procuring a phishing simulation in detail. This included the workload and all the necessary requirements that were needed. And after this service provider was chosen, we considered the experiences and the reflections of 6 key actors that were involved in the procurement process. And so in summary, we had 1 researcher that was in the field and observing and documenting, and then we have had 5 semi-structured interviews to really get the inside-out perspective. So with this, we showed a wide range of tangible and intangible costs that were part of this process. And to answer the first research questions regarding the procurement process, as I said, we were with the company for 5 months, and the whole procurement process took well over a year. So we were part of the last 5 months until the decision was made which service provider to get. And we also were handed multiple previous documents to really see all the steps that were needed to the procurement process of this phishing simulation. So we saw the requirements catalog, the market and stakeholder analysis, and also we had insights into the communication to possible service providers. And then we got together with the company for the preparation of the proof of concept. So the proof of concept were 2 providers that tested their solution within the actual running company. And afterwards, there was a lot of contract negotiation and decision making, and yeah, we accompanied these steps as well. So one specific obstacle that reoccurred multiple times during this process was the frustrating communication with a lot of service providers. So often requirements could not be met, like an API interface to the master data. So they said that the companies should provide an Excel sheet like every month with all of the employees, and that would have just taken yeah, way too much effort. So there were a lot of difficulties and problems, and also a lot of service providers did not offer solutions to handle the expected higher ticket volume due to mails being reported that weren't part of the simulation. So this was, by the way, one of the most important requirements for Truck Corp, since they already had made really bad experiences before. They had a previous proof of concept for phishing simulations 2 years ago, and that one was stopped because the service desk was then fully occupied. Yeah, speaking of other stakeholders, we saw a huge amount of different stakeholders that were involved, and not all of them were accounted for, and many of them had then more tasks than in the beginning intended. So there were, of course, the technical departments that were involved, but also a lot of organizational stakeholders, like, for example, HR or the legal department, especially the Workers' Council and so on. And there was also a lot of communication and agreement necessary to make use of synergies with other stakeholders that, for example, also wanted to use an e-learning platform and wanted to combine these two. But there were problems because they didn't have the capabilities to actually prove the to review the actual platform, because they were too busy doing other stuff, and so there were a lot of problems here. Yeah. Then going forward with the hidden costs. So we had 4 different kinds of, or we differentiated in 4 different kinds of hidden costs. So the general workload and time, the hassle factor, and the emotional labor and care work, as well as other work tasks that were specific to the phishing simulation. Yeah, because of time reasons, I'm just going to go a bit more into detail towards the first 2. If you're interested in the other ones, then yeah, have a look into our paper. So the general workload and time, we made a conservative cost calculation with all the hours that the stakeholders took during this procurement process, and it came out to be around 800 working hours for all the stakeholders involved. And then this, multiplying this with the average salary of each group, we got 45,000 euros that weren't visible beforehand. And then coming to the hassle factor, which refers to the work tasks that were particularly cumbersome or causing frustration. As I already said, it was really annoying to communicate with the service providers that couldn't meet the requirements. And then there was also this part that awareness was a task on top for many of the stakeholders. So they were with their own daily work, and then they had to do the tasks that the project team wished for. And then there were, of course, further technical issues during the POC, and also a lot of frustration due to bureaucracy and other guidelines. So yeah, what do we actually want to show with our results? Service providers often promise quick and easy implementations, and phishing simulations are widely known as best practices in the industry. And we want to raise awareness on the fact that even introducing a phishing simulation campaign can be a very complex and expensive thing, especially in a large, decentrally managed company like Truck Corp. And maybe you heard the talk from Jonas and Uta yesterday, where they said that phishing campaigns are often used for the KPIs to report to the management. And yeah, we also want to remind once again that these metrics often are not really meaningful. And yeah, one should maybe think about other metrics. And yeah, we hope that companies think about more realistic cost-benefits analysis. And we also encourage the research to yeah, also look into actual costs of operating security measures and their actual effectiveness. So yeah, that was my talk. Thank you.